read It Ends With Us, I think a little over 2 years ago now. It was actually the second Colleen Hoover book that I ever picked up, but I would say It Ends With Us was the first book that I just absolutely devoured. I remember reading this in probably 2 days, and at that point in time that was so weird for me. I had not done that since I was 12 reading The Hunger Games, but I just could not put this book down. I remember trying to rush to get ready for work in the morning so that I could have more time to read this before I had to go to work. I remember staying up late so that I could finish this, and since then my love for reading has obviously grown into something just absolutely huge. But I do attribute a lot of me falling back in love with reading to Colleen Hoover, and as much as she's probably not one of my favorite authors anymore, now that I've delved a little bit deeper into the reading world, into the book world, I've just found so many authors, so many series, so many books that I love. I will always have a special place in my heart for Colleen Hoover because she really is, as I like to say, the gateway drug into the reading world. But anyway, today I'm going to pick this up for the second time, 2 years later, because today is the 17th of October and It Starts With Us, the sequel to It Ends With Us, comes out tomorrow. So I thought, since I read It Ends With Us so long ago, I definitely need to refresh my memory and reread it before the next book comes out tomorrow, and we can read that together as well. I did rate this 5 stars 2 years ago. I'm interested to see if I love it just as much now, or if my taste might have changed a little bit, or if I have a bit more of more criticism, I guess, toward it. Maybe it will still be 5 stars, I don't know. I'm so intrigued to see how much I remember and what my thoughts are the second time around. Editing Rachel here, just to make things very clear for this video, because I don't think I did a great job when I was filming. This video is broken up into, I would say, 4 parts. The first part is the It Ends With Us reread, and that is full of spoilers. So if you haven't read It Ends With Us, I wouldn't recommend watching this video, because this video is full of It Ends With Us spoilers. The second part of this video is trying to go shopping and find It Starts With Us, a little book shopping segment. The third part is me reading It Starts With Us, and that is spoiler free. And then the final part of this vlog is me reading It Starts With Us, but the spoiler part of my reading experience. So if you haven't read It Starts With Us, you can still watch this vlog and just tap out before I start talking about the spoilers, which I'll remind you when it gets to that part. And also, if you just want to skip to the part where I'm reading It Starts With Us, you can obviously do that as well. Hopefully this will make sense. Enjoy. Chapter 1. Okay, we're already heading into spoilers. We're literally on page 5, and this is where we meet Ryle for the first time. And does it not say something that the first time we have a scene with Ryle, before we even know who he is or what his character is going to be, the first thing that we see him doing is kicking a garden chair. We see him completing an act of violence. We don't know his name, we don't know his personality, we don't know anything about him. All we know is that he can be violent. That's what I'm saying. Page 14, Lily asked for his name, and he goes, "It's Ryle. Ryle Kincaid." I don't even know if that's how you say it, but why do reading that just make me mad? Why am I I'm now on page 22, but Ryle just explained how he doesn't want kids, ever, and doesn't want to get married, ever, and obviously we know, if you've read this book, that Lily and Ryle end up having a baby together by the end of the book. He said that he's a really driven person, and basically he feels like if he had kids, they would never be good enough. He says, "Not many people have the drive that I do, so I'd only be setting them up for failure. That's why I'll never have any." So now I'm also really intrigued to see how It Starts With Us, the next book, goes with that, because does Ryle continue thinking that? That will be awful. He will be an awful father if he continues to have that mentality, and I don't want to see his baby grow up to feel that way. I don't know. I'm already stressed. Ryle is also just giving me the ick right now, because he literally was I want to sleep with you, and she's I'm not really into one night stands, I don't want to sleep with you. And then he continues to hint at it, and then is also oh well, if you wouldn't do a one night stand, how far would you go? Ugh. Ugh. It actually just makes me so mad. Okay, we've got to talk about the Ellen diaries. This is the one thing that I specifically remember hating the first time that I read this book. I just it's just cringe. Writing letters to Ellen DeGeneres. Miss Coho, why? Literally, why? It's almost she was just let's just chuck a little, let's just spice things up a bit. But it makes it weird. It's weird. I refuse to admit that I kept a diary when I was younger, because that was so cliche. Instead, I convinced myself that what I was doing was cool, because it wasn't technically a diary. I addressed each of my entries to Ellen DeGeneres, blah 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 blah, because she loved her. I wrote letters to her regularly until I turned 16. 16. You didn't at one point between the ages of, I don't actually know how old she was when she started, from like, let's say like 8 years old to 16, at no point within that time were you like, this is a bit weird, I should just start writing a normal diary. Like, she thinks it's too cliche to write diary entries, but she thinks it's cool to write an Ellen DeGeneres. Like, I just have a big issue with this. Like, why Ellen DeGeneres? Like, you really couldn't think of a better way to do like flashbacks. You just were like, dear Ellen, that's the one. Like, you have these heartbreaking stories of this girl living at home with an abusive father, and you're like, chuck Ellen DeGeneres in that. I just will never understand that part, I'm sorry. Okay, update, 60 pages in. I'm stopping because I'm gonna make myself some lunch. How many pages is this book? 370? It's like fine right now. Obviously there's like not a whole lot going on. I remember being so much more interested in the like flashbacks compared to the current story when I read this the first time. Like, I remember just being like, all I want to read about is Atlas, and I already feel that way, and we've only had like one flashback so far, I think. And we've also had the second interaction with Ryle where he comes to her flower shop, and they basically agree to like try and avoid each other because they're just so attracted to each other, and he doesn't want a relationship but she is out there like looking for a soulmate, and so they understand that they're not like compatible to actually try and figure something out, which I'm just like, okay, like whatever. But they're just like, oh, you're just so attractive, and it's like, you literally know nothing about this man apart from he's a neurosurgeon, and he knows nothing about you except that you own a flower shop now. Like, they've literally had more discussions about relationships and like what they want in a person than even just like talking to each other as people. Like, they don't know anything about each other, but they've had like 2 discussions about how they can't be together. It's like, how do you even know you want to be together? You don't even know who each other are, you know? Anyway, but I will say the writing is just so easy to read. Like, I've got to say, Colleen Hoover just makes a very readable book. It's a few hours later now. I had lunch, went to the gym, did some work, but I'm back to reading. So I just got to the part where Ryle tried to find Lily's apartment, so he knocked on 29 doors until he found hers. I remember reading that the first time and being like, that is the cutest thing I've ever heard. He knocked on 29 doors until he found her apartment. Obviously he's in love with her. Also, this is their third interaction, and like I said, we know nothing about this man, but he basically just love bombs her and is like, I just can't stop thinking about you. I don't know what it is. All I can think about is how crazy it feels when I'm near you, and I need you to make it stop, Lily. Please make it stop just once. That's all it'll take, I swear. And he's talking about sleeping with her. He's not actually talking about like going on a date with her or spending time with her. And to be fair, Lily responds by saying, Ryle, did you seriously just knock on 29 doors so you could tell me that the thought of me is making your life hell and I should have sex with you so that you will never have to think of me again? And he says, well, yeah, but it sounds way worse when you say it. And then she says, that's because it's ridiculous, Ryle. And then further down the page is like, it makes me so angry. He literally says, please, Lily, please, in italics, have sex with me. It's actually disgusting behavior. Get up, I say, pushing his arms away from me. You're embarrassing yourself. Wait, you're joking. She literally just said how pathetic he was, and then she invites him inside. I tell him to wait on the bed for me while I shower. You're joking. She did not. Oh, my actual brain. You're joking. You did not just agree to this man. No. That's not okay. I don't remember this part. Lily, you are embarrassing me right now. Oh, and sorry, her justification for allowing this behavior, she says, it's the scrubs. The scrubs are my weakness. It has nothing to do with him. That is actually so embarrassing. Okay, false alarm. I kept reading. They did not sleep together because he fell asleep. But it's still just as pathetic because she was still willing to do it. No, that's absolutely pathetic behavior. We are officially 100 pages in. If I'm correct, I think we have now had 5 brief interactions. I think 5. The only time these 2 people have had an actual conversation was the first night they met on the rooftop, where they shared like naked truths. And the only time they've had an interaction that doesn't include them basically say they are just like so desperate to sleep with each other is 0. Every one of those interactions has included some type of thing where Ryle at least has been like, I want to sleep with you so badly. He knows her name. He knows what she does for work. We know Ryle's name. We know what he does for work. They know like maybe like 2 to 3 naked truths about each other, but that is it. They've never been on a date. They don't know what each other like to eat. They don't know each other's hobbies or like passions. They don't know what the other one believes or like what their fears are, what their joys are. These people know nothing about each other and they have basically just started a relationship. What irks me even more is that last night at the party where she was just like, I just want to know what you want, and then she tries to walk away and he literally like picks her up and takes him to her bedroom, and then he's like, I obviously want you, and she's like, okay, well, prove that you want me by not having sex with me. And he's like, okay. And so he literally turns off the light and is like, let's go to sleep. I won't sleep with you, but like, let's go to sleep. Here's the thing. You could have literally talked all night. You two don't know anything about each other. You could have used that time to get to know each other. Almost like a date. You could have had a conversation. You literally just switched off the lights and are like, okay, good night. Like, if I'm not going to sleep with you, I don't actually care about spending time with you. That's what I'm getting. I've not seen one positive thing about this man except that he has good determination, I guess. It just makes me so mad. It's now 7:15 p.m. I'm at page 214. I just got up to the part where it's like her 16th birthday. He comes back and surprises her. He has moved to Boston and he's basically like, you saved my life. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, it's so cheesy, but it's just so sweet. And he gives her the magnet. Reading that the second time, like when you, oh, my heart. I know I'm being dramatic, but reading that a second time when you know what that magnet is going to become, like, it's not cute anymore. Like, it's just heartbreaking. And even just what this night turned into, like, I don't even want to read the next bit, but I understand why it's included, and I do think it's like such an important part of the story, but just like reading the abuse is just like I hate it so much. So I have been skipping reading those scenes because I already know what goes down. I don't need to read that again, you know. We have officially made it to part 2. One thing that I am really thankful that Colleen Hoover did in this book is that she did not write Lily as a person who just like waited around for Atlas. Like, they went their separate ways. They lived their own lives. They had their own plans, their own dreams, their own goals, and they like went and did their own thing. Like, she did not write Lily as being this girl who just like sat home and twiddled her fingers until Atlas came and rescued her or found her, which I really, really liked. And even like Atlas said to her on her 16th birthday, like, I don't want you to wait around for me. Like, I want you to go out and live your life and like live it to the fullest, basically. And I just really like how Colleen Hoover wrote that kind of part of the story. Anyway, I'm gonna go have a shower, get ready for bed, and then keep reading. Ryle just found the phone number in the back of Lily's phone case. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. There's a 3-second pause where I think this could go one of two ways. He's going to leave me, or he's going to hurt me. Also, can we talk about how they literally got married in Vegas? Let's not do that. Let's not get married in Vegas. You fell down the stairs. You fell down the stairs. But I didn't fall. He pushed me. I actually hate it. Like, it actually makes me physically angry. I have no idea if I'm supposed to hate him or be terrified of him or feel bad for him. You should never, ever, 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 ever feel scared of someone that should love you. I feel like this next part definitely like helps me understand Lily's perspective a little bit better. She says, this isn't how it was supposed to be. My whole life I knew exactly what I'd do if a man ever treated me the way my father treated my mother. It was simple. I would leave and it would never happen again. But I didn't leave, and now here I am with bruises and cuts on my body at the hands of a man who was supposed to love me, at the hands of my own husband, and still I'm trying to justify what happened. This book was the first book that I read where it made me understand why people don't just leave an abusive relationship, because being inside the head of Lily makes you realize like it's not as simple as that. I still hope that all of those people who are dealing with that would leave. Like, I really truly do, but I can understand how they may not see it in the same light as you can see it from the outside. Like, it's so easy from the outside to look in and be like, you need to leave, but from the inside looking out, it just does not look the same sometimes. And I mean, there's so many other factors involved as well, but it's actually just heartbreaking. I think I'm gonna have to pause this book and read something else before I go to sleep and finish this off in the morning, because it's actually just so sad to me. Good morning, guys. I have my coffee here. So much has happened since I talked to you last. I guess we had like the big incident with Ryle. She called Atlas, he came and picked her up. She's now back at her apartment, but Ryle is in England, but she also has realized that she is pregnant, which is like one of the most heartbreaking parts of this story, I feel, because it's one of those things where you're just like, oh, she's never going to be able to fully separate herself from him, even if she does choose to leave, which is just heartbreaking, and I just like can't fathom that in real life, and my heart goes out to anyone who's had to deal with just literally anything like in this book. But yeah, I'm now at page like 320, so I'm just going to keep reading. I'm glad I know how it ends, because this is just such a difficult read when you don't know how it ends. Just made it to the epilogue. I like kind of remember this, but not in detail. I totally forgot about her middle name. Finished. Honestly, I didn't even properly cry. I had tears in my eyes during that epilogue, but I definitely cried a lot more reading this the first time. I think this time I was more angry than I was sad. Like, I was still sad, but it wasn't, I don't know. I didn't cry. I will talk to you guys later when I head to the shops and go and try and find It Starts With Us, because today is release day. I have just been working for the past like hour and a half, but it is now after 9, so I'm gonna go to the shops and we'll see if we can find It Starts With Us. I'm pretty sure I should be able to find it, surely. Guys, they didn't have it. I went to 3 stores and they literally were just like, we don't have it. I'm going to go have lunch with my mum at her work later today, and there's a different shopping centre near her work, so I might go check that out. Also, the only reason that I didn't pre-order it is because I have never had a pre-order arrive on release day. And to me, what's the point of pre-ordering a book if it's not going to come out on release day? I just arrived at a new shopping centre. I'm going to check 2 stores here, see if we have any luck. Another fail. I went to Big W, they didn't have it, and then I went to QBD and they didn't have it. But I talked to the lady at the desk and I was like, do you know like when you're getting it? And she was like, it's literally being delivered sometime today, they just don't know when. So she's like, it's in transit, but I can't tell you when it's going to get here. So I'm assuming like literally everywhere around me is getting their shipment at some point today, which I'm just like, why? Like, if it's release day today, I don't know, in my brain I'm just like, if the book is released today, we should be able to buy it today. And if they don't get their delivery till like 3 p.m, I guess, I don't know, I'm confused is all I'm trying to say. Okay, so I realized I left my normal camera in Liam's car and he's at uni. So until he gets home, we're just gonna be vlogging on my old camera, but hopefully that's okay. More importantly, look what I finally have in my hands. This was an absolute mission to find. I'm kind of shocked. You guys saw my whole debacle yesterday. I went to one shopping center, I went to a second shopping center, and then actually last night, Liam and I went to the movies, and I was like, while we're here, before the movie starts, can we just go check Big W because maybe they've got their shipment in? So we went and checked, they still didn't. So I went back to a shopping center this morning, went to Target, still didn't have it, went to Big W, still didn't have it, walked into my beautiful little indie local bookshop and they had a beautiful display of it. So I finally picked it up. Why did they do that? Especially for a sequel. You know that I want these sitting next to each other on my bookshelf. You couldn't have just come out with the normal size? No. You couldn't have. It actually pains me. I know it's such a first world problem, but like literally why? But it's fine. I'm just happy to have it and I'm gonna start reading it straight away. I feel like I'm gonna get through it quite quickly because the font is so large. Also, I will say floppiness rating, 10 out of 10. This is absolutely stunning. Before I start this, let's quickly talk about my expectations, or like what I think this book is going to be. Obviously, I'm assuming we're going to get Atlas's POV, and I think we're probably going to get some flashbacks of him growing up and like his home situation, because although we knew that he grew up in an abusive household, we don't really know the details of that. So I'm assuming we're going to find out more about that in this book. I'm assuming him and Lily are going to get back together, but Ryle is probably going to make that a little bit difficult. But I'm assuming in the end it's going to be be a bit of a happily ever after sort of situation. I think those are the only things I'm really expecting. If I'm being honest, I'm assuming this will probably be like a 4-star read. Like I think it'll be almost like nostalgic and a bit like, oh, this is like a nice ending for these characters, but I don't think it's going to be anything mind-blowing. That's my guess. I'm interested to see what the plot is of this book. Like what is the main like plot. This next part of the vlog is going to be no spoilers, and then I'll do a section at the end that will be spoilers. So if you haven't read this yet, you can still watch the spoiler-free part, and if you have read it or you don't care about spoilers, you can obviously watch the spoiler section at the end, but I'll make sure I come and tell you before I start talking about spoilers. But I'm in my favorite reading spot on the floor next to the couch. Don't ask me why it's my favorite. Oh my gosh, I do love the cover. The cover is so beautiful. Dear reader, this book is a sequel to It Ends With Us and begins right where the first book concluded. After releasing It Ends With Us, I never imagined I would one day be writing a sequel. I also never imagined this book would be received as it has been by so many. I'm so grateful for all of you who found Lily's story to be as empowering as I find my own mother's. This novel was written as a thank you for the tremendous support, and because of that, I wanted to deliver a much lighter experience. Lily and Atlas deserve it. I hope you enjoy their journey. Okay, I'm excited. We're not going to be heartbroken, hopefully. We finally get Atlas's POV. I actually am so happy. This is so cute. She's just saying how she felt so awkward running into Atlas, which happened in the epilogue of It Ends With Us. And she said, he didn't seem awkward though. He seemed very happy to see me. And when he hugged me, it felt like a part of me that had been dormant suddenly sprang to life. They are soulmates. Like, you can't deny that Atlas and Lily are soulmates. I do hate that we're gonna get so much of Ryle in this book, but it's like, even though she has been able to separate from him, like, she's never gonna get rid of him in her life. And that just freaking sucks. Like, I don't want to see texts from Ryle. No, surely not. Ellen is back. Guys, Ellen is back. We know my thoughts towards Ellen. She freaking brought back, she's like, what, 27 at this point? And she's bringing back the Ellen diaries. No, I don't want this. She says, there's really only one woman I feel comfortable talking to about Atlas. Ellen DeGeneres. Pretend Ellen DeGeneres, because it's not even the real Ellen DeGeneres. It's fine. We're fine. I will say it's kind of cute being in Atlas's head and seeing how worried he is about Lily not texting him back. Like, it's kind of cute. I'm just an Atlas girly. I can't help it. I doubt he's going to do anything in this book to ruin that, but I guess we'll see. So Atlas asked if he could call Lily, and now they're on the phone, like video chatting, like FaceTiming. And I just love this so much because you guys know that one of my biggest complaints when I read It Ends With Us in the first half of this video was just me constantly being like, Ryle and Lily do not know each other. They don't have conversations. They just talk about how badly they want to sleep with each other and how like huge the attraction is between them. And here, Atlas and Lily are so clearly still in love with each other. They're just obsessed with each other. They just want to spend time together. They just want to talk. And I just love that so much because it's obviously just so much more of a friendship-based relationship, which I just think is just so much better. And I just love this so much. This is exactly what I wanted in the first book. I just wanted a real, like, actual connection, not just like a lusty driven thing. I love Alyssa so much. Like, she's just so funny. I feel like her personality is just honestly better than Lily's. I don't like dislike Lily, but I feel like Alyssa's personality is just so funny to me. Miss Coho, if you're watching, which I know you're not, can we please get a companion novel with Alyssa and Marshall's story, please? I'm on page 88 and we're getting our first flashback, which honestly I thought we'd probably start getting flashbacks a little earlier than this. I thought I wanted to know more about Atlas and like his flashbacks and how he grew up, but actually reading it is not pleasant. It's just so sad. Page 101, I love this so much. I'm grateful for Atlas because I know he's the standard I now hold people to. Here's the standard I should have held Ryle to from the very beginning. Amen, sister. I'm officially 100 pages into this book and I'm genuinely loving it. Like, I'm really enjoying it. I still don't really know what the plot is or even if there's going to be really like a plot going on or if it's just more a character driven book, which is totally understandable because it seems like Colleen Hoover wrote it just to kind of like give people closure and give people a bit more of like, I guess, just a story about the people that they loved from the first book, you know? Like, this is a book for the people. It's not a book for the plot. In saying that, I'm loving it so far. Like, I could see this becoming a 5-star book, which I was not expecting at the beginning. I still have over 200 pages to go, but I think it'd be fun to update like every 100 pages and kind of give you my general thoughts about what I'm thinking. I just love Atlas so much. He's just like the most wholesome, cute thing in the whole wide world. And he is like my definition of a perfect book boyfriend. This is such an important topic. This is not a spoiler, but there's a conversation that Lily is having with Ryle. It's not like a fight, but it's definitely not a good conversation. But Lily says, I may not be perfect, but I don't deserve to fear for my life every time I make a mistake. It just makes me so mad that there are so many women out there who feel like they can't even like stand up for themselves or have a discussion that's not like them just agreeing with everything a man says without fearing for their life. Like that is just makes me so angry. Again, I don't think this is a spoiler, but Lily and Marshall are having a conversation, and Lily is basically just like, is divorcing Ryle the right thing to do? Like, that's my daughter's father. Should I try and make it work? Maybe he could change. And Marshall says, and I love this, nothing you have done and nothing you could do would excuse any man's hands on you out of anger. Remember that, Lily. You made the right choice by leaving that situation. You should never feel guilty for that. Marshall the king. We stand Marshall. Liam got home and now we have my normal camera, so we're back. I'm on page 125 and Lily mentions her tattoo, like the little heart tattoo that she has on her collarbone, and it says that Atlas doesn't even know that that tattoo exists, and I'm so excited for him to like figure it out because I think that's just like so special. I'm excited for that moment. This man just handed her a bouquet of cookies instead of flowers. Okay, besties, we're at page 200. Honestly, still really enjoying this. I started it at like 10 something this morning, around 10 a.m. and I've been reading it like on and off since then, and now it's 2 p.m. And so I'm really flying through this book. Like, I'm definitely going to finish this, I reckon, in the next 2 hours probably, depending on how many breaks I take. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I don't think it's like the best plot I've ever read, but I just love the characters so much that it does not matter. Like, it definitely is a character-driven book, I think. But obviously in this book, Atlas and Ryle have some run-ins, I guess you could say. But Atlas says he's fighting for a woman he barely even knows, which just means that he's fighting for the sake of fighting. And I just think that is such an important concept because, like I said in It Ends With Us, Lily and Ryle barely knew each other. They never spent the time to get to know each other. They just focused on their like chemistry, and that is literally what Atlas says. He's fighting for a woman he barely even knows. There gets to a part of every romance book where things are simply going too well, and I think I'm at that point. There's always this moment where it's like everything feels perfect and aligned and just peaceful and like happy. And every time that happens, I get suspicious. I'm like, I'm just waiting now for the downfall, for the mess, for the chaos, for the conflict. And I feel like I've just hit that part, so bring it on. I hate that part. The freaking note he wrote her is the cutest thing ever. Like, it's so cheesy, but it's so cute. Like, you can't tell me that is not the cutest note you've ever read in your life. Also, how can someone like Ryle spend so much time with someone like Marshall and still not be a better person? That's all I want to know. I officially have 5 pages left. This is so sad. This has been the easiest book to read. Like, I haven't even wanted to put it down. And it's not even like suspenseful or like I'm like, I can't put it down because I need to know what happens next. It's just like, it just feels like I'm hanging out with characters that I like know and love. Like, they're friends, you know? Like, they're just familiar. It hasn't felt like I've spent hours reading. Stop. I'm done. That was so good. Honestly, 5 stars. Honestly, 5 stars. I probably shouldn't be giving my thoughts literally 10 seconds after finishing the book, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I have you balancing on like cushions, which is definitely not the best idea of my life, but here we are. Here's the thing. If you're going into this book for a good plot and like a really interesting, crazy, dramatic story, it's simply not going to be the one. Like, this is not the book for you. This is the book for the people who read It Ends With Us and loved Atlas and loved Lily and wanted to see their happily ever after and wanted to see them be able to fall in love, I guess, all over again, because we did get to see that the first time in It Ends With Us, but not in like the proper way, I guess you could say. Like, it was kind of a puppy love. It was like a trauma bonding experience the first time, whereas the second time in this book, it's real. Like, it's a legit love. They get like a proper story, which I just feel like the characters really deserve this book, and I'm really glad that they got it. But yeah, it's very character driven. The plot is not that wild, especially when you think of other books by Colleen Hoover, because she does really write like extremist kind of stories. Really loves just writing super dramatic, super plot twisty, wild sort sort of stories. This is not like that, but I still honestly just loved it so much. I think Atlas just has to be my favorite book boyfriend. Like, he's just so genuine, so sweet. He's almost a bit too perfect, I'm not gonna lie, but it was just really beautiful to read this and just get to see characters that you love get their happily ever after. Like I said, they just deserve it. I don't know why this wasn't cheesy to me, because it is. Like, objectively, the writing is cheesy, but I think because I love the characters so much, it didn't feel cheesy to me, you know? But yeah, I think it's 5 stars. I think this is the part of the video where I'm going to jump into spoilers for this book, because I've been filming them the whole way through. So if you have read the book by now, or if you just don't care about seeing spoilers, then obviously go ahead and watch this next portion of the video. But for those of you who haven't read it yet, or haven't finished it yet, or who just don't care about spoilers, obviously click off this video now. If you do not want to see spoilers, click off this video now, and maybe you can come back to it once you've finished it, if that's something you want to do. But hopefully those of you who aren't wanting spoilers are gone, and I guess for the rest of you, enjoy my spoiler thoughts. Why does Atlas feel like the only person he can talk to is a 12-year-old? I don't know if I like that. It's kind of weird. Like, he doesn't want to talk to his best friends, but he'll talk to his best friend's son. Why are we telling a 12-year-old about our love life? That's just as bad as Ellen. Lily just said that Ryle has a key to her apartment. I don't like that. Good night, Atlas. Night, Lily. I end the call and press my face into my pillow. I squeal like I'm 16 again. I love it. I really didn't think I was gonna love this book, but I'm 60 pages in and I'm falling in love with Atlas all over again. Here we are again. How did this happen? Atlas didn't go to live with his uncle. What the heck? I told you my uncle was still alive so you wouldn't worry about me. No, we're not doing... Atlas, don't lie to freaking Lily. Page 96. We're impressionable when we're younger, and when you're told you are nothing for years on end by everyone you should mean something to, you start to believe it, and you slowly start to become nothing. But then I met you, Lily, and even though I was nothing when you looked at me, you somehow saw something I couldn't see. You were the first person in my life to show an interest in who I was as a human. Even if this leads nowhere and we never speak again, I will always be grateful to you for somehow seeing something in me that my own mother was blind to. At this point, Atlas has no flaws. Like, this man is perfect. Okay, I have a theory. I'm on page 100 right now. Obviously, we have all of the vandalisms. Is that the right word? We have all the vandalism happening at Atlas's restaurants. And he doesn't know who it is, but he thinks it's a teenage girl. My theory is that his mum and his stepdad, is it Tim, ended up having another kid. No, that can't be right. It's only been 9 years since then. I actually don't know who this kid could be. I'm so confused as to who it could be. I'm pretty sure I was right before. The person vandalizing Atlas's restaurants is his little brother. Potentially. He's 11, okay, that's why when I first tried to tell you that was my theory, I was like, oh, that surely can't be right, because there was like 9 or 10 years that like Lily and Atlas hadn't seen each other, and he was saying that on the security camera it looked like a young teenager. So I was like, oh, well, it can't be like a 14-year-old because it hasn't been 14 years, like there hasn't been enough time. That's why I was kind of like confused at the end of my like trying to explain what my theory was, but he's 11, so that actually makes more sense. Okay, I was not expecting the plot to go in this direction, I guess, like have such a large focus on Atlas's brother that he didn't know existed. I'm only on page 160, so I'm not sure if it's going to continue being the emphasis. I feel like it's gonna be a mix of this and then like dealing with Ryle, like Lily dealing with Ryle. And like, do I feel like Colleen Hoover kind of just like chucked a secret brother in the mix to kind of like give her something to talk about? Like, yeah, I do. Like, I feel like she just was like needing something because she originally wasn't planning on having a sequel, so she didn't really like set anything up. But honestly, I'm just happy to have more of Atlas and like his life, and obviously the romance between Lily and Atlas. And I really like that it's moving slowly as well. Like, I like that they're not just like jumping into something really deep really quick. Like, they're still kind of becoming friends first and like taking things slow. Atlas just saw the tattoo. Wait, what? Why did he just kind of go cold? What? I heard you tell the nurses he bit you, but I wasn't I wasn't close enough to see that you had the tattoo and that he bit. I didn't realise that one of the times when Ryle hurt Lily, he bit her shoulder. Or like, I thought it was her shoulder, but it must have been closer to her collarbone. He must have actually like bit. That's so disgusting. But he obviously hurt her like really close to where her tattoo was, and that was the first time that Atlas saw the scar of that, and obviously that would have made him so upset seeing that. I hate that Atlas will now forever pair my tattoo with that awful memory. That's so sad. So important. Atlas is so angry, but this is an anger I'm not afraid of. Okay, Ryle has just shown up at Atlas's restaurant, like while he's working, because he's really mad. I'm scared. He's just so aggressive. Ryle basically was like, just you wait, like you're gonna realize that your relationship won't be perfect forever. And Atlas says, I could have a million arguments with her, but I can promise you they'll never end up with her in hospital. Ryle laughs at him making it. What is wrong with this man? Why is Atlas being so nice to him? And Ryle rolls his eyes at him. Atlas literally complimented him, and Ryle rolls his eyes. Never mind. He did compliment him, but then he turns around and goes, you were a horrible husband. Fair. I love Alyssa. I love her. So they're sitting down with Ryle, basically giving him an intervention, being like, you need to get help, you need to do anger management. And Lily is basically saying, if you don't get better, like I'm going to do everything I can, I'm going to sell everything I own to fight you in court for full-time custody. And Alyssa says, and I'll help her. I love you, but I'll help her. And I'm just like, wow. I love Alyssa. And now Atlas is trying to have a conversation with Sutton. Atlas says to her, I want to give you an opportunity to be a better mother to him. And she says, maybe the issue is that he should be a better son. Sorry, he's literally 12 years old. Like, get over yourself. The family tree seedling. You're joking, that's so cute. In the note that Atlas wrote Lily for their 6-month anniversary, where Atlas is talking about Josh, says, I want him to feel young for as long as he can. I want him to enjoy his time with me. I want him to know what love is long before I did. And I hope that love has been seeping slowly into him so that it doesn't hit him all at once like it did me. I want him to grow up with it, wrapped in it, surrounded by it. I want him to witness it. I want to be an example for him. I want us to be an example for him. And for Emerson, me and you, Lily. So cute. I actually, wow. Atlas is wow. We get to read the vows. Are you joking? He's talking about how 50% of marriages end in divorce, and obviously they're getting married. That's what the last chapter of this book is. But he's like, I know that sounds depressing, but if someone would have told me when I was a teenager that I would have a 50-50 chance of living my entire life with you, I would have felt like the luckiest human on the planet. If someone would have told me that I had a 50% chance of being loved by you, I would have wondered what the hell I did to get so lucky. Oh, stop. So cute. Not only did I get the opportunity to be the first person to ever fall in love with you, but I also got to experience a shared heartbreak with you. And then, like a miracle, I was given the opportunity to fall in love with you all over again. 2 times in one life. How can a man be so lucky? I think those are all my thoughts that I have to share. I had so much fun reading this. It was such a good experience. Honestly, the experience was better than I was expecting. It was just really special. I hope the rest of you enjoyed it as much as I did. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments, but try to keep it spoiler free for those who haven't read it yet. But just let me know your general thoughts, whether you loved it, whether you didn't, if it lived up to your expectation, or if it didn't. I would just love to know. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. But other than that, I guess I'll see you guys in my next video very soon. Goodbye.